Hello everybody, I am Jedi Jack Penguin and welcome back to another LEGO Collectible Minifigures review. So today we're going to be looking at all of the figures from set number 71012, Disney Series 1. This included a total of 18 characters to collect and released back on May 1st of 2016, I think alongside the Disney Castle at the time, so you'd be able to fill that set up with some of these really cool and neat minifigures that we got for the very first time ever in LEGO form. I remember when this first came out, at the time I don't think I was into Disney 100% yet. I was starting to watch a lot of the films around this time, but still wasn't as into it as I am today, I suppose. One thing I wanted to start off by saying is the fact that this was also back when collectible minifigures used to cost $3.99 instead of $4.99 as they do now, and maybe even $5.99 in the future when they're in boxes. We'll have to see what actually happens as far as price increases and such. But looking at the bag design, one thing I wanted to note is the fact that the US and North American bag art featured Captain Hook compared to the European bag art that included Donald Duck, as you see on screen now. So it is really interesting to just compare both of these bag designs. I guess Donald Duck is more popular in Europe for some reason. Maybe it's due to the magazine. I know that they have a magazine that sometimes includes special LEGO stuff. But yeah, just wanted to point that out as something really interesting when it comes to the bag design. You get that dark blue, which I think is really classic for Disney there and works very well just color contrast wise with these eye-popping characters here, and also just the white for the Disney logo and such. From the back side, you'll get your barcode for this at the time period. Really interesting that they also include the Incredibles logo on this. Not sure why. And I also wanted to compare this to, say, a modern bag design and how much smaller this used to be. Heck, while we're at it, we'll put all three right next to each other just so then you can see that these two are pretty much the same bag size, and this one being so small. Before we dive right into our minifigure selection, I also wanted to take a look at the pamphlet that we got with these back in the day, back when they used to be folded all nice and neatly without the tape. And from the back you get some instructions on how to build some of them if you may not be entirely sure how to. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to build Buzz, as they did release Toy Story sets back in the day, and it is pretty much the same exact build-up, just without that head. I mean, I guess it's for younger collectors. To start us off, we have someone cute and fluffy, Experiment 626 or Stitch, which I think this is probably my favorite figure of this entire set, just because Lilo and Stitch is one of my favorite Disney movies. I don't know why we haven't gotten a set yet, and I really wish that we'd get a Lilo minifigure sometime. Get the printing from the front and back of the torso. And even for the little teeny tiny feet on the bottom, I think that's so adorable. And you also get a brand new head mold for the time period, which we'll also see appear in 2023 on that newer version, just with a different print to represent the more like alienized version of Stitch. Such a great figure, so happy to have him in my collection. Definitely one of the standouts in this set, and again, I just really would love to see them make a set or something where we can get some of the other characters. I would definitely buy that day one if they made a minifigure scale set. Part of a pairing that at the time I didn't think really made too much sense, considering we did get sets from LEGO Toy Story in the past. We have the Pizza Planet Alien, which reuses the same exact head that we saw back in 2010, though we do happen to get brand new prints for the torso, front and back. And even leg printing, which I think is a bit of a bonus there, just to see like the boots. I'll just remove them off the plate so you can get a better look at that they're dark blue from the very bottom. And you even get the printing from the side there, that's really cool. Otherwise, honestly, I don't know why this guy was included, just because again, we got these Toy Story characters before. The thing that I think is mostly frustrating is the fact that they completely changed the design from what they had in 2010 by including these regular heads instead of the molded ones. I mean, they keep it here, but they remove it for Buzz, and then eventually once the 4+ sets release, they're all just regular minifigure heads, and I don't know, I'm just not used to it, having grown up with the sets in 2010, 2011 for Toy Story. What do you think? Do you think they should have stuck with these molded heads, or do you think these regular minifigure heads are fine for these figures, tell me in the comment section below. Even though I don't like that this doesn't include the molded head as we saw on the previous versions, this has to be our best representation ever of Buzz Lightyear, because we get side, arm, and leg printing, which looks so amazing. Even get it for like his little laser down there. That is just so cool. The under the neck accessory is the same exact one that we saw introduced in 2010. As for the wings, those are also the same as we saw in 2010, which would also continue into the 2019 sets, where you get the printing on those, get the stud from the very back of the under the neck accessory. Visor is also the same as we saw in 2010, continuing into 2019, though we happen to get that brand new facial expression, which is, I guess, a good representation of printing a lighter color on a darker surface. I mean, I guess they can get that right on some of these collectible minifigures just because they're printed in a different factory compared to some of the other figures that we've gotten in regular sets. One last thing that I gotta do is just remove that under the neck accessory so you can take a better look at the printing on the torso. You only get it from the very front. The one thing that I think is really interesting to note is the fact that we do not get the Star Command logo from the very front of the torso like we saw on the 2010 versions of Buzz. Don't know why they didn't put it there. Maybe it just cost them extra money to get that printed on there. I don't know. Would make sense that these were just still lying around in some box somewhere if they made these back in 2010. On to a whole new world, we have Aladdin, who we got for the very first time ever in LEGO form. You'd later see him appear as a mini doll, also reusing that hair-hat combo that was introduced in the collectible minifigures. Now you only get the one facial expression with a nice smirk. I think the color of his flesh tone works very well. It also matches the flesh tone color that we saw for Jasmine in the Series 2. One thing that I think this character would have benefited from was maybe some dual molded legs. I don't know. I think it works fine. The printing on the side. It's just annoying that it doesn't continue from the very back. But it is what it is. Get the printing from the back of the torso. And you get the lamp as his accessory there. To go along with Aladdin, we get the Genie for the very first time also in LEGO form. I'm quite surprised that we never got him as a mini doll yet. I would really like to see him return, same as Aladdin and Jasmine. Maybe we'll see one of them appear within a set in August. We'll have to wait and see, but anyways, I love that we get the printing for like the wristbands there, or at least the chains trapping him in his Genie form. You also get the printing for the little belly button down there. Get the one facial expression with a nice big grin, which I think works very well. You also get a brand new mold from the very top of his head where you get the ears. I love the attention to detail where you get his little earring there. And you also get a hole from the very top where you can add that little feather. Honestly, I'd be really interested to see how they would do his figure modern day. If they would use something similar as this bald cap sort of design with the ears, or if they'd make an entirely new mold for his head. I don't know. You also get the same exact lamp piece that you saw for Aladdin as his accessory, which you can also place underneath him, which, what do you know, the leg piece actually works as if he's actually coming out of the lamp. I think that's really cool. On to this Queen of Evil, we have Maleficent, also for the very first time ever in LEGO form. We later see her appear as mini dolls, and then again within the most recent Villain Icon set, which is such an upgrade to her figure. But for the time, I think this was a really great design. You get some under the neck accessories for these capes, which have black from the back, but from the inside are printed with some purple, at least for the bottom here, and also at the very base of this. The dress design I think works very well. The coloring of just the black and the purple works fine in my opinion. Printing a lighter color on a darker surface for the facial expression, love it. You also get the softer plastic for her headdress piece, which is different compared to the modern day one, which is using more of a harder plastic, which is shiny. For her magic staff, simple design. I wish that this gem was green and not yellow. I don't know. That's just my opinion. One other last complaint that I have about this figure is the fact that we're using a slope piece for her dress, and that is really, really annoying because this figure can easily just break apart, unlike the normal leg connection that you see on the dress pieces nowadays. A minifigure that I think would certainly benefit with an upgrade is Alice from Alice in Wonderland. This was the very first time that we ever got her. We'd later see her appear as a mini doll this year in 2023 with the return of that hairpiece, which also has the little headband from the very top. It's really cool to see that it returned this year in 2023. Makes me think that we could be seeing something more, maybe later on in the year, or maybe even next year, who knows. But anyways, we saw Alice return this year in 2023, which makes me think that we'll end up seeing more Alice in Wonderland, hopefully in the future, even considering the current minifigure in the collectible minifigure series. But one thing that I think would definitely be a great upgrade to this figure if they were to make her modern day is the fact that we now have the technology to have mid-size legs, and I think that would have worked so much better for this figure just to make her a little bit shorter, as she is, I guess, a teenager, or like around there, maybe? I don't know. Otherwise, we do get some printing on her legs there with the black of her shoes. Otherwise, it's white all the way up. You get this dress piece, which was newly introduced, which you would currently only get on Mini, but we get an exclusive print to continue the style of her outfit. Get some dual molded arms, which look fantastic. You also get some back printing for her figure. I'll remove that hairpiece so you can take a better look at that. Only the one facial expression. Now, one thing that I also really love about this figure are the accessories. The first of which being this bottle with a brand new print that says "Drink Me." When Alice drinks that, she'll shrink all so small to fit into the wonderland of her imagination. And when she wants to get big again, we get this 1x1 circular tile print for this little cake, which when she eats that, she'll grow nice and big to fit back in the real world. A surprise for sure, but a welcome one. But great to see this figure after Stitch. We have the Cheshire Cat, which is such a interesting figure to get in LEGO form, not one that I really ever expected as, like, I guess a cat. We do get some really nice printing on those arms, and even some dual molded legs. And we also get that tail piece, which is a brand new recolor, and a brand new mold for the head. I'd be really interested to see if this headpiece returns if we ever get to see the Cheshire Cat again. Daisy Duck also appears for the very first time other than the Disney Castle. This version is exclusive with some brand new prints for the torso, as well as the legs, which are dual molded, with also some printing for, like, I guess the shoes on her character. Dual molded arms. You get that ducktail piece, which you'd also see for Donald, which we'll be looking at next. We also get a brand new head mold, which you'll also see on a few of the other versions of Daisy, even into the Mickey and Friends sets. And also that bow, inside that pink color, should remain exclusive to this collectible minifigures, at least for now. Along with Daisy, we'll also get Donald Duck, which is the same exact version that you'll also be able to get within the Disney Castle, which released the same year. I think it's fine considering Tiana is the same exact one as we'll get within the Disney Castle from that CMF. It's just something that LEGO has to do when they do this kind of thing. It's fine, I don't really care. You get the dual molding for the legs, which works wonders. You get the duck tail piece, which will be the same as you see on Daisy and his nephews. You get the printing from the back of the torso, and even on the arms there. I think that's an extra detail that is really great for this figure. Headpiece is the same exact mold that you'll also see for Daisy Duck. It's just that, again, they have those accessory holes from the very top. I forgot to mention that when it came to Daisy, that both of them have the same exact head mold. It's just that the accessory hole from the very top is what determines what you place there, and you get this specialized mold for Donald's hat, which you can plop right in that accessory hole, and you also get special printing for both Donald and Daisy in order to tell them apart. Minnie Mouse also appears with an exclusive outfit within this series with brand new prints for the legs and the torso, and also that skirt piece with the polka dots is brand new, same thing as the bow with the polka dots. You get the same exact head mold that you'll see within a few other sets, even leading into the Mickey and Friends line. Dual molded arms and even dual molded legs. I'll remove the skirt so you can take a better look at those there, where you get the white on the top and the black on the bottom with the dual molding, and also the printing for the shoes. As a whole, not a bad outfit for her character. I think this is just like a classic Minnie Mouse design. And as I said, the head mold will be the same as you see on other mouse characters. It's just you get the accessory hole, just like Donald and Daisy. where you can place in the bow and you get those eyelash prints for Minnie Mouse. Alongside Minnie, we have everyone's favorite rodent, Mickey Mouse, who is in his classic design as well, with the dual molded legs, with his classic red pants. You don't get any printing on the torso, so this is nothing special. But the facial expression is brand new for the time period, also appearing in every other, or at least what feels like every other Mickey Mouse figure leading into the future, even the promo for this year 2023. Honestly, I don't think there could have been a better figure to include in here as far as a variant of Mickey Mouse. I think this is a really great design. It's nothing special by any means, but again, it's just something that I think works very well and is a great inclusion within the set, and I don't think we've seen Mickey in this particular design since this collectible minifigure series, so that I think is a really great bonus. Mr. Incredible is yet another one of those few characters to actually include an accessory with their minifigure, that being this printed 2x2 tile piece that says, "Doing our part," trying to recruit some of those superheroes to try and help the city. Honestly, I don't really remember the plot of The Incredibles. I haven't watched it, I think, since I was a little kid. I know I watched the second movie when it came out, but at the time I forgot to rewatch the original, so I didn't really know what happened in that one. I did get the LEGO Incredibles video game like a year or two back. I played through a little bit of that, got some of the Pixar characters, but honestly, I just didn't rewatch this movie, so I didn't really know the plot of it. So yeah, that's all that I have to say really about The Incredibles in general. It's just not something that I got into as much as, I guess, Toy Story. But this is still a really great figure. You get some dual molding for the arms and the legs, and you even get some exclusive prints. There's the Incredibles logo. Again, I guess that's why they have to include it on the packaging, because we actually get it on the figure. You don't get any back printing, only the one facial expression with a nice smirk. And you also get a brand new hairpiece for the time period, which you'll later see appear on characters from, say, LEGO Star Wars, and even on the Mr. Incredible within the Incredibles sets. To go along with Mr. Incredible, we get the main villain of the movie, that being Syndrome, which is, I guess, a nice figure. Probably my least favorite of the entire set, because again, I just don't really remember the plot of Incredibles. You get another exclusive 2x2 tile piece, which includes the big super weapon that he's trying to destroy the city with, I believe. At least that's one thing that I kind of remember. You get dual molded arms with printing, which I guess is cool. They also get some dual molded legs, which also feature printing for his feet, even down to the very bottom. The detail there is pretty cool. You get a cape, classic sort of design there, big S for him for Syndrome on his outfit. Kind of looks like he's wearing underwear, or at least, what do you call that spandex stuff that the superheroes wear? I don't really know. You get the one facial expression, which works fine, kind of creepy, and you also get a brand new hairpiece for the time period, which at the time I remember thinking, hey, this would look so cool on Kai. Inching closer and closer to the end, we have Peter Pan for the very first time ever in LEGO form. Only this year in 2023, to celebrate 100 years of Disney and also the anniversary of the original film, would we see him appear in other LEGO sets, though I still think this has to be the most superior version as far as minifigure versions of Peter Pan go, because the one that they included in the most recent set is just, it doesn't really do it for me. They do both feature the same exact facial expression with that big smile from the front. They also have the same exact hair-hat combo, though I believe they gave it a brand new number outside of the collectible minifigure series. You get those dual molded arms, which even feature some little prints, which is just so much extra detail that makes me so happy about this figure, and even just the dual molding for the legs. One last thing that I have to mention when it comes to this figure's design is that it is kind of conflicting what this figure comes with as far as accessories, because on Bricklink it shows golden knives as his accessory, which is all fine and dandy, though when it comes to the pamphlet and also just some of the promotional material, it all includes these gray or silver knives, so it is just kind of confusing as far as what are the accessories supposed to actually be. I mean, I'm fine with the golden knives, those were easy enough to get a hold of. To go along with Peter Pan, we have Killian Jones, the pirate Captain Hook, who is just such a great figure. I think this is another great standout from this series to get the dual molded legs there, with the printing leading up to the torso piece. Even get printing on the arms, get his one hook, with this being Captain Hook, you gotta have that, the silver hook. Really love that. You also get one of those 3 Musketeer swords, which we previously saw in a collectible minifigures series, so that's cool. Only the one facial expression and a brand new hair hat combo. One last thing that I gotta say about this guy is I just really would love to see LEGO remake him. It is rather disappointing that he didn't appear within the villain's icon set, considering we do get references to his character within that set. It would have been a great way to reintroduce him, and also just considering that we're getting other Peter Pan sets this year in 2023, it just does not really make sense to me that he isn't in any of the sets. Maybe we'll see him next year, who knows, but still just disappointing for those who weren't able to get this series and have that villain's icon set. Poor unfortunate souls, we have Ursula for the very first time ever in LEGO form, I believe, unless she appeared in any of the Disney Princess sets. I don't really know the history behind those as much as I know the minifigures, but minifigure scale Ursula. Another figure that I have to comment on, just like Captain Hook, why isn't she in the villain's icon set, would make so much sense because she's being referenced with a VHS tape, which is so cool. We get one accessory of the Trident, which we saw introduced in LEGO Atlantis. We get a brand new mold for that, like octopus bottom piece, which you'll also see appear in a set this year, 2023, just with some pretty cool prints for the live action version. We get the printing of a lighter color on a darker surface when it comes to the torso, which I don't really like. I see what they were trying to do, I just wish that the torso was inside that plain purple color. I don't know why they weren't able to do it. Well, actually, I guess I do, because they didn't want to do anything that goes below there. Whatever, it's you know what I mean, it's fine. We get a brand new print for the face, and also brand new hair piece with some printing, which I think is more than what they're doing on the current version for the live action. I don't really know. I might as well also remove her off her plate, so then you can take a better look at what that looks like underneath, where you get the anti-studs that work with the studs. And finally, to wrap up this selection, we have Ariel for the very first time in minifigure form. We previously saw her as mini dolls, and we continue to see her as mini dolls. Most recently, we saw the live-action version represented in minifigure form, though still I don't think that beats this one by any means. We get a brand new hairpiece. When it comes to the mermaid tail, that is such an interesting situation, because that also appeared within another set at the time period. I'll take off the hairpiece so you can take a better look at the back printing. And you can take a better look at the front printing again, and the facial expression, which are exclusive. We get one accessory of this clam, which was introduced in 2014, and you get a small little gem in there, which I guess is nice. As a whole, I think this is a really solid selection of characters. A lot of these you're getting for the very first time ever in LEGO form. My only complaints here have to be when it comes to the inclusion of the Toy Story characters, which we've previously seen, even though Buzz is just such a great upgrade and even better than any of the versions that we've gotten previously. Donald Duck being the same exact version that we saw in the collectible minifigures is a little frustrating if you're buying that $350 set at the time period to get the same exact figure that you worked so hard to try and feel out from the collectible minifigures series. Why couldn't he be exclusive like all the other versions of the main cast, which you'll also see appear here in Mickey, Minnie, and Daisy? Do I even have to say it again? Stitch in LEGO form, just so amazing. So happy to have him in my collection. Also love the Alice in Wonderland figures, would really love to get a set with some upgrades of those. Same thing goes for Aladdin. Peter Pan, best version that we've ever gotten, better than the current one. Don't know why these villains aren't included in more recent sets, just because they reference them, and the only way to currently get them is just on the aftermarket. Though I guess one good way to look at it if you're a collector is the fact that if you own this collectible minifigure series, there is still something exclusive about it, and that makes this collection so much more special. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, what your thoughts are on this series. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so every time I upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!